08717 223344. Craig, have you given up hope as a Newcastle fan?
Hello, how are we doing?
Good evening.
How you doing, Craig?
Yeah, nice to talk to you. Giving up hope a long time ago. Just want to come back to Bruce. He is terrible, and he's not the right man for the job. And again, I'd just like to say that everything does come down to Ashley. The way he runs the club, obviously as a business. But I think the telltale sign this year, because last year there was no fans in, they had a free ride, I think, Bruce did. I think this year the fans have to get back anything to get this man out of our club.
Instead of just backing the players, instead of just supporting the team, you're backing getting the manager out instead.
It's not about getting the manager out. He is the wrong manager. He's terrible. His win percentage, he's won 2 games in the last 18 league games.
So you think another manager would be able to get better performances out of this squad? Is that what you're
a good manager should do? You know what I mean? A good manager should be able to motivate players to play properly and a work ethic.
All right, Craig, a good manager like who? Because we said before
that
people wanted Kerbishley out, and he was doing a tremendous job at Charlton, and they fell apart eventually. And people wanted Tony Pulis out of Stoke, and he was doing a fantastic job. So, who?
Well, no, exactly. That is the hardest question. There is nobody. I don't know. There's nobody that springs to mind, shall we say.
But do you not think Steve had a hard task to follow anyway, in terms of after Rafa left? Rafa's obviously well renowned for being a good coach and tactically brilliant. Obviously, he had the rapport with you guys in terms of the relationship with the fans. I don't feel like Steve's been fully accepted, even though he's a local lad as well. He's not really been fully accepted in terms of his appointment at the football club. I don't know whether his name's deemed big enough for the Newcastle fans in terms of for the job, or what is it? His past links with Sunderland? I don't know, because he's finished no worse than what Rafa finished, and he plays no different style of football in terms of to what Rafa does either.
No, I agree with you. And by the way, I didn't like Rafa at Newcastle for the way he played. He was actually, in my view, worse than Bruce. The way he played football. At least Bruce actually sometimes tries to come out and play. But you know yourselves, if you get a manager, it could be any manager, could be nobody you know, but it's somebody who can work with the players to play with a philosophy, and to make the players play in the right positions, or to make to motivate them. I don't know.
Craig, you sound like a man who with clearly you have strong opinions. But if you're saying you're not having Steve, and if you're saying you're not having Rafa, who are you having? I mean, who is good enough? I don't know. I mean,
I can't answer that question. Honestly, I've racked my brains out. You take a new manager, Frank Lampard, but you can't pick a manager, an up-and-coming manager, because you've still got that man at the top of the club, Mike Ashley.
All right, then. So I'll give you some names, right? You tell me if you want them, right?
Yep.
Conte.
Well, Darren, don't do that.
Why?
Let's be realistic.
Well, he's saying, listen, we're being realistic. He's got Bruce. Bruce won 5 of the last 8 games last season. Okay, it hasn't started well, but he's kept them in the league, and he's kept them, competitive in that final few games. He doesn't want Rafa, and Rafa did a good job, so I'm giving it a couple of higher caliber names just to check, what you think the level is.
Okay, Conte, you would take him with a heartbeat, but he'd want money. He'd want to run the club properly.
I just want what's realistic. If I said to you...
Go on, give me another name then. Give me a name.
Someone out of a job. Eddie Howe's out of a job. Right, John Terry wants to get into the game.
All right, Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe. Craig?
Eddie Howe, yes, I would take him. His philosophy at Bournemouth and the way he ran the club on a budget, which you'll have to do. But he made the players obviously play football. When he was a manager of Bournemouth, when they came up, they were outstanding for at least 3 or 4 years. It was 3 years they were up here.
5 years in the Premier League, yeah.
5. Well, there you are, 5 years.
All right.
I think he got a bit of a rough deal. Yeah, he would.
And one more. I mean, he's been talked about. So, John Terry.
John Terry. We don't need another Cockney in Newcastle, by the way. But
harsh.
No. But
all right, Frank Lampard.
It could be like a Frank Lampard thing.
Would Frank take the job though? If you're Frank Lampard, sat there waiting, having just come out of Chelsea, would you then go into a team that's struggling and a club that seems to be not heading in a positive direction.
Correct. The club's got no ambition. That's the thing. If the club had a bit of ambition, a bit of investment, then it could probably entice these type of managers to come up.
No, I agree with you there. I can understand the frustrations, and I can empathise with what you're going through, because it's no secret what obviously the manager's job there is a tough position with no investment and a lack of belief from the people above.
But Cameron, when the players do protest, and Craig's
Darren, we're so
angry.
pressed for time, and I know you want to ask a question, but I really want to get one more call in on this. Let's get Martin. Martin's a Newcastle fan. Thank you for your call, Craig. What do you think, Martin?
Well, I have this question. They were described as being not fit during the second half of the first match of the season. They've had weeks, if not months, to get fit. So who's the responsibility for having them fit? Is it the manager, or is it some other coach?
I think that lies with the manager and obviously the relative departments. I think obviously that's a sports science thing, and whether you're prepared for the season right or not.
Well, if it's somebody other than Bruce, that person should have been sacked.
But when does a physio get sacked, or a head of sports science or a head of performance get sacked, or when does their sort of role come into question?
I don't know about how these things work. But
yeah, I mean, it's the manager's responsibility for the results on the pitch. It's a results business. So ultimately, the manager's going to pay the bottom line, which is the manager leaving the football club if the results aren't right. It's not, you're not really going to hear about anyone else's job not being done properly or being done properly.
Interesting message here to end from Anthony. He says, Newcastle under Rafa, win, Rafa gets the credit, lose, Ashley gets the blame. Newcastle under Bruce, win, the players get all the credit, lose, and Bruce gets all the blame. That might just about sum it up. Thank you for getting involved in the conversation.